To approve.
We have a first. Can we get a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Baxter?
Point of information, I just wanted to ask, I was looking up the area between 414 and 426 Parkview Drive. And an ordinance that mentions approving line of sight issues in and around the following intersections. What is the reasoning for adding parking in that area of Parkview Drive?
Mayor, if I could, yes.
Sure.
Disaster, I don't know the answer, but, the ordinance was requested by the chief, so he sent over, a request that we prepared the ordinance consistent with his request. So, I'm guessing there was some logic or thought behind requesting this no parking in this area. Perhaps we can get chief's input between first reading and second reading, maybe you address your question.
Yeah, just, it's a very wide street, and that area is at the end of Woman's Lake. So anyone who might be coming to visit may want to park there. So I was just trying to figure like all the places to not have parking, it just didn't seem like the most logical way. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Baxter?
No.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. Matters presented by the public. Members of the public are invited to submit comments during the public portion of this meeting. The council pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act will not publicly discuss personnel matters and may choose not to respond to comments made by members of the public during this portion of the meeting. However, the council will give all comments appropriate consideration and will consider and will refer all individual complaints to the township manager or appropriate township representative for resolution. Each citizen will be allotted up to 4 minutes to speak in order to allow everyone an opportunity to express their opinions and or concerns. So we'll start with individuals in the first row and subsequent rows right after. So anyone in the first row wants to come up, please state your name and address.
Hello everyone, I'm Kim Pollock and I'm a Medford resident.
Hey Kim, just real quick, on the microphone, there's a little button you want to push
Now
down.
push that, yeah.
That'll light it.
There you go, thank you.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So I'm a Medford resident, sorry, and, I'm here because a group of residents met last week to discuss multi-housing developments in the Kirby's Mill area, Flying W area. And we're all concerned about the infrastructure. And what came up was the topic of runoff. And with 800 or so homes in the Flying W complex, the area above the cemetery leading into the Kirby's Mill area, and then up on Church Road, 24th Church, they're talking about buying that property and having that as access. So all that asphalt and concrete is gonna create substantial runoff into the Rancocas. And then also beyond that, because the topography is all downward toward the creek. And then beyond that, there are farms. I visited one last night, hundreds of acres, and there's a powerful stream that runs right at the runway. At the edge of the runway, there's like a 15-foot drop, and all of that will run off into that stream. And that's the southwest leg of the watershed, and then meets the south end in Lumberton. So the concern was, who's downstream? Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out.
Right.
So we just thought, I was talking to a friend who has a business here. He said, there's a meeting tonight. He said, why don't you come by and just mention, your concern, because I remember, I've been a resident for 50 years in Medford, and I remember 20 years ago when the dams broke and the flooding went down into Lumberton and everything was underwater. I mean, I understand that permits are out there, and I know I only have 4 minutes, I don't know what my time's up, but, there are permits to be had and regulations and so forth. But I think this one deserves a real special consideration, because it's going to impact tens of thousands of people forever once that concrete and asphalt is in place and that runoff. no, there's no going back. That's really not helpful.
Thank you for your concern. Thank you for your
Yep,
comments.
yep.
Let's go into the second round. We go to the second round.
Good evening, I'm Luis Lopez. I'm a 98 Levi resident. I want to say, what an amazing car show. I hope you see, there's a lot of video and a lot of things, I mean, took a lot of pictures and videos. And the second question is, can you explain the resolution of 2025-101?
You said resolution 2025-101.
Yes.
Sure, you have any foreclosures? Is that it's finalization? This is a,
Yes, Mayor, this is authorization to begin in rem tax foreclosures for these particular properties.
okay.
Thank you.
Louis, these are properties that are delinquent in taxes, we've tried to collect, and we're going to foreclose on the certificates that the township holds.
Is this a program or something that residents can go and bid it? How that goes?
No, we already have the certificates, the township holds the certificates.
Oh, okay. So thank
This is
you.
just a formality to close.
Second question is, are you going to have a September 11th ceremony in Mount Holly?
For 9/11?
Yes.
Yes, Thursday morning at 9 a.m.
Okay, thank you. And there's 3 events coming up on Mount Holly. The Mount Holly Fall Festival, September the 27th, from 11 to 4. You have this Saturday, Mount Holly Trail Cleaning. That's this Saturday, am I right?
Let me check with the environmental committee, but I believe so.
It's at this Saturday from cleanup from 11 to 1.
Okay, what's the next event?
And plus the 9/11. And have you considered making a special resolution or an amendment of the property taxes on the Mahoney Garden? Have you given in consideration to all the residents there to have a permanent tax abatement for the rest of their life? Well, I keep asking about that. That would help all senior citizens and the people who can afford that tax at the same rate. Then you consider re-changing that rule. It would affect I think 7 or 10, not 100, but 7 and 10 residents.
Cool. Thank you for your comments, Louis.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Caroline Hurley, 115 Clover Street in Mount Holly. First, I want to thank the township for finally repaving Clover Street. It looks amazing. I do have one question though. We used to have a speed hump in front of the house, and I'm wondering why that wasn't put back.
Most of the residents didn't want speed bumps there on Clover.
Not
we
my
decided not to
neighbors,
put
not my neighbors I've spoken with. And we have a raceway going from Garden Street all the way up. That being said, there's a lot of children in the neighborhood and there's a safety issue in regards to that. So I need to know one of 2 things. Is the speed bump gonna be put back in? And if not, will you be willing to have Mount Holly basically clean up and put a police officer, excuse me, say on Sharp's Alley, right across from my house? And he can make a lot of money for the township because we have speeders galore.
Yeah, so there's no plans for this, since the streets are already paved, there's no plan for speed bumps to go back on Clover, but we can actually request the township police department.
That would be great.
Should be able to.
I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, what I was saying was, now that we have the additional cop program approved by the EBZ, which 4 additional cops on, we'll now have additional cops to be able to do things just like that. Not just by Clover, but also, for instance, I'll give you an example. I come home every day from work and I make that jug handle by McDonald's and go across the street. And I know there's a yield sign coming off of 38 onto onto the road there, but nobody.
Nobody, I just had somebody try to run into me
Right,
today.
right. And, you know, we're a council, and I asked if people can take a look at that, and this comes down to there's just a staffing issue. So now I think we'll have enough people to be able to kind of do those things, and can't do a Washington Street. There's a bunch of areas where people
Yeah.
like to abuse the rules of the speed, and I think that with that, we'll have the ability to go forward and have someone start doing that.
I agree. I actually had a very close friend of mine coming down from Wood Lane Road, and she was doing the speed limit, and this is just 2 days ago. Somebody flew past her on the other side to get around her, and she was doing the speed limit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not a raceway.
Right.
It is not.
So, well, thank you all very much. Have a good
Thank
evening.
You as well.
Thank you. Yeah, it was, yeah. Because they were getting complaints about that. Any complaints? All right, next row, anyone in the third row? Or anyone else in the second row?
Good evening, council, members of the public. My name is Wilson Klein. Just moved to Mount Holly, live at 38 High Street. Lived in Lumberton prior. The new gazebo right out back out here looks great. Hopefully some maintenance issues can take effect. Power washing of the concrete would make it look really nice. I've seen quite a number of residents using it with the grills out there. That's a nice piece. If there's anything Mount Holly can do to increase street sweeping, to clean up, to get more debris off the streets, that'd be great. I know a couple weeks ago I went in and talked to the head of the UEZ about some of the programs they're doing, and I hope we continue to encourage that and continue to fill in the empty storefronts that are down in the downtown. We have a number of them that are vacant. Appreciate your work. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. Moving on to the third row, anyone in the third row? Not, if they're in the third row, then anyone in the fourth row?
I just want one thing. Joyce Scott, 416 Buttonwood Street. And to follow up with the street cleaning, we don't know when they're coming. We have no notice. And the last few times that they have come by, they're basically just cleaning the middle of the street. Because we have parking on both sides. If we knew or had some kind of knowledge, we could move our cars. I would be very happy because my neighbor had plumbing, sewer issues. And the mud is still in the gutter. And if we knew when the street cleaner was coming, I would gladly move my car so you could, clean out the gutter. So, is there a way that we can be notified?
A schedule should be established, but we need to
Yes.
confirm. It's supposed to be established. And it's posted on the website? All right, are they following the schedule to, as far as you know?
Okay.
Do we,
But the schedule is on the website.
Schedule is up on the
There is,
website.
there's.
The schedule's on the website.
It
Okay.
only is done, I believe, quarterly, off the top of my head.
I did see them last
It is,
week.
I know it's there.
I did see the last week in a part of town.
Yeah, it was just the end of last week, and even the time before they came, nobody knew. But if there's a schedule, I'll be fine to check it on the website.
But it also should be a notification
On
too.
the public works page, the street
Yeah, what-
sweeping schedule is posted.
Okay.
I was gonna bring up, maybe this is a good idea, maybe we can do this, I think it was pointed out before in the past. But, as much as I'm in technology, I use computers, websites every single day. I mean, you can imagine if we printed up 10, 15 lawn signs that says, street sweeping this week in your area. Please make sure your cars moved, something like that, more details, visit the website, and just stick it in areas that we're gonna come by.
So people become aware of the fact that
And,
there
and,
is a
and
schedule.
they'll see it, maybe that might help.
Yeah, it will. When I was brought up in Burlington City and they had signs, this day of the week at this particular time, we had to move our car. and we would get a ticket.
Right.
And then the other side of the street would be another day.
The other day.
So, if it is on the schedule on the website, but you're right, make people aware of the fact that there is a schedule.
Mhm.
That way I would know to move my car. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Alternate days, they do one side and the other.
Yeah.
Something about that creates more issues. Next, number 4.
Betty Jean Chesler, 418 Langstaff Avenue, Mount Holly, New Jersey. Since January, we've been hearing a lot about wasteful government spending. Things like $6 million to Egypt to promote tourism. People between the ages of 150 and 159 years old getting Social Security, programs to promote electrical vehicles in Vietnam. This is the crap that's been abused on the taxpayers' dollars. So since it's so prominent in the federal government about all these alleged programs that our tax dollars should have went to, the question now becomes, what have you all been doing with our tax dollars? And with that, I am requesting that this Township Council, approves a forensic audit, because it's alleged that this town is $18 million in the hole. So if we're $18 million in the hole, does all the taxpaying citizens of Mount Holly know how far we're in debt? And we need a forensic audit to find out where our money is going and what it's being wasted on. So this stuff can be corrected. And when you get the forensic audit, they need to be outside independent auditor who has no connection, political affiliation, or interest in Mount Holly whatsoever. So I am requesting that a forensic audit be done, because I'm tired of paying for all these programs, and we can't even afford freaking eggs. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Next.
Pierre Ford, 117 Grand Street. Hopping on the beautiful lady that we just talked about the information being on the website.
Yeah.
We can eliminate all that by having a sign, electric sign. Why haven't we invested in an electric sign in the area right there at the corner where we do all the events? Okay, a lot of people don't have the capabilities or the time to go on the website. But if they see this, if they see it on the sign right there, then they know about the events. They know about when to take their vehicles out of the way when it comes to sweeping and stuff like that. Plus, it gives more information for events and stuff that people just don't take the time to go online to check that. I mean, we're talking about information. We're in the information age now, so we should be able to show that information out to the public, and then that'll eliminate anybody coming up to you guys saying, "Well, we didn't know." Well, it was right there on that sign. That's all I have.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Happy Monday. Maureen Taylor Ford, 117 Grand Street. I just want to follow up quickly, Tara's mom, about the street sweepers, sorry. I swore a long time ago there was signs posted somewhere, I believe there was, but if Mount Holly is not going to enforce that, like AKA Philadelphia does, New York does, if you're not gonna be out there writing tickets, it's a waste of time to put it on paper. So if you're not gonna really enforce it, then I don't know what else you guys can do outside of really enforcing it, which means give a warning, move your car, and move on with it.
Maureen?
Yes.
I was gonna bring up when she was talking, and I was gonna ask if we had something on the books from an ordinance standpoint, if we had enforcement, because I brought this up when it used to snow during the holiday, those years ago, when it actually did something. And I think it says in the code book that you're supposed to move your cars off the street so the plow can come through and do it, as opposed to going around and blocking people in, almost the same.
Well, that's the plow, Rich, come on, we're talking about this regular sweep.
Right, what I'm saying is the same concept, if the car is there, it can't clean the street, right?
That's not the same concept, you're talking about weather versus just trash on the street. It's
No, I'm
not.
talking about moving the car.
I'm not gonna fuss with you today, Rich, okay, it's been a long summer, and I've been gone, and I'm off my game, and you guys are still off your game. The New Jersey League of Municipalities Convention is coming up November 18th. What are these county people here that are elected under progress, not politics? What is your goal for this convention? Because when I went the last couple of years, a lot of other townships, people that each of you know, that I have their business cards, lawyers, all kind of people, lawyers from Mount Holly, all kind of nonsense, all they did was sit around and have a dinner, a lunch, where they sit down and talk about all the things that each independent person or two people learned during this convention that's gonna better their town. So is my town going to do that too, or are we just all gonna go to the convention this year and go to the parties with the mayors and drink, sleep all day? Because I go, the last 3 years I've been going, and I rarely see any of you besides one time. So I'm just hoping with transparency, Rich, because you're the deputy mayor, assistant mayor, whatever you wanna call it, right? That is your job from what they told me. Me as a physically engaged active citizen. I'd like to know what you guys are gonna do, which seminars you're going to that are gonna better this town. Moving right along, my concern is the Human Service Committee. Are we gonna ever get that up? This is September. January, September, that's 9 months. When are we getting a Human Services Committee for this particular town? Dr. Johnson has been talking about it for years since we were in that rat hole. When are we gonna have a resolution to get a Human Service Committee? What are we doing for the Veteran Service Committee? The person who was trying to head spirit is no longer an employee. So what are we doing about the veterans? Okay, we just can't have it to where we're just gonna have one little thing every year up there on the hill. Okay, we just invite the veterans. What are we doing? I'm a veteran, and I'm a young veteran, okay? I'm not 70 years old. I'm a young veteran. I require a little bit more than a 70-year-old, okay? Moving along also. This woman who just left about Medford with the Flying W, she brings up a very valid point. We have been talking for years about the runoff. In our own town, we're talking about it. Now we have people coming from Medford talking about it. That's the problem. What are we doing? Where's the transparency? What are we doing? I'm reclaiming my time, Rich. And also, the last meeting I asked you, what were we gonna do about the 2 incidences, the one that was noted about the defecation on High Street? Again, my kid was one of those kids drawing on High Street, okay? If it happened once, it happened twice, it is now an issue. We cannot afford to be reactive when we can be proactive. It was spoken the last 2 meetings that I attended, because I've missed a few, the UBZ clean team was gonna handle this. They cannot do that without biohazard training, okay? You were talking about fecal matter, okay? So, again, I'm still waiting for that also.
Thank you, Ms. Wood. Anyone else to the next row?
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for your service, ma'am. I'm a veteran as well.
Very well, thank you.
How you doing, everyone? My name is Kia Fialis, 417 Mount View Avenue. I bought a home here from Jersey City, and I just wanted to share with the residents that when you get a sign and the cops are out to enforce, it is crazy. You're paying a lot of money if you oversleep that day. If you just so happen to just forget to move your car, the Mount Holly deficit will be paid with your money because that's how many tickets you will get. So I understand about knowing about the sweepers coming, but as far as enforcing it with the police, it becomes harassment to the residents because it was just that one day and then it's $63 that you have to pay for the ticket. So I just wanted to let them know that and then just ask you guys about the leaves. I'm pretty anal about the leaves, so I have my son out there getting the leaves up, cleaning, and I live on a corner home, so I have to go from around the way, all the way to the front, and he is cleaning it. And it's clean, and it's in the bags, in the Home Depot bags, and it's sitting there, and it's sitting there. And then the branches, the same thing. My neighbor across the street, his branch has been sitting there, and he said he called 2 weeks ago, and it's still sitting there. He lives in 416, or no, maybe 415. And he's called, and they're still there.
Yeah, so, hold for a second. What's your?
Thank you, ma'am, I do appreciate your comments. I do believe I spoke with your neighbor.
Yes, ma'am.
Brush pickup is the first full week of every month.
Yes, ma'am.
So that means it starts today.
Yes, ma'am.
So somebody will be around, to pick up your leaves and your branches, or your neighbor's branches.
The branches.
But it is the first full week of every month. So if the month starts on a Wednesday, so October 1st is gonna be a Wednesday, I'm making all that up, I don't really know. It won't be that week, it'll be the week after. So it's the first full week of every month.
And how often do they come in? I just wanna be prepared and just have my stuff.
They will come,
So-
leaf pickup is different. Leaf
Okay.
pickup goes by zone.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's a little different depending on your street, what zone you're in, but they start at zone 1, they go through zone 5. They do that twice every fall and winter. Brush pickup starts in March or April and runs all summer long, and
So,
through September.
I think, yeah, through September, right?
Yes.
Through September.
So, we also, I know you're a new resident, I don't know if you have a calendar, a Mount Holly Township
No, I
calendar?
do. I do, but I didn't see that. I
Okay,
saw this
on
meeting
the,
there.
on the back
I
of
didn't
that,
see
what I
that
wanted
count,
to tell
at
you,
least.
the last page will tell you what zone you're in. So you look up your street, it'll tell you whatever zone you are. You might be zone 3, but I don't remember off the top
I'll
of my
definitely
head.
check, man. All I need to learn, and I'm good, like, once
Yeah,
I'm-
yeah, so, if you have any questions, I'll help you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You was gonna say something, ma'am? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to point at you.
Will brush pickup leaves?
Mm.
No, brush pickup and leaf pickup is different.
totally go there.
Now, but sometimes just they do pick up if they're bagged, they do pick them up if they're
But it's
bagged.
not officially named, no,
Right,
it's a separate thing.
that's not officially,
Okay.
if they're bagged,
It does,
sometimes
they're
they
2
do.
different trucks.
But-
So, they have the leaf sucker truck and then they
Just to
have
give
the
you an
brush truck.
update, so when leaf pickup starts, you don't have to bag them, you can put them onto the curb, and that's where the truck will come by, when she mentioned the zones. They'll scoop up the leaves in the vacuum truck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have like a big
I've been
vacuum.
buying them bags by the
And
bundle.
that's fine too, they'll pick
Because
them up
now,
if you
the
prefer
bags are
that.
fine now, because they're not gonna bring, the truck is not in service yet, it starts in October.
Okay.
So,
And a lot of the times,
Other
it
times
also,
you have to
you know,
pay.
if you're putting them in the street, it's also preventing parking. I don't know if you park in front of your home.
No,
or
I don't
whatever.
do that, ma'am. I put it.
So that could prevent that
We have a
too.
sign at the corner that says no parking. My leaves are stationed right there, where it
Okay.
says no parking above it.
Right.
And they're.
Which is fine, you're free to put them in bags, you're free to put them at the curb, unbagged, they will pick them up both ways. But just so you know, we do have a big vacuum that comes by and that's how.
but that's only in the fall.
That's only in the fall though, when they start.
And I'm not
actually-
new, ma'am. I've been here for a whole year. On the 10th is my anniversary.
Awesome, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right, let's see, anyone else, let's start with the subsequent rows. After Mr. Ford, anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Art Castillo with 302 Barrington Court. I'm not sure if this is the right.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, Art Castillo with 302 Barrington Court. I'm not sure if this is the right platform, but I am seeking approval from the township. We own 12 townhomes, and we own another 96 unit building where we're trying to merge both parcels. But we need council approval in order for us to do it. We have been trying since April, and we haven't been able to get anywhere with it. We're gonna be foreclosing on the 12 townhomes if we don't get the township approval. So I'm not sure what I can do to get this approved by the township.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Castillo, one more time, so you're the owner of the properties?
I'm a representative of, I work with a company that we're trying to,
And you're trying to merge two lots together?
to lots together, in order for us to get a HUD loan, but I believe it's under a pilot loan through the agreement from the township.
Three pilots, actually.
Tom, this is a little building.
Yeah, this is,
Oh, okay.
yes. It's being addressed by.
Yes, our special counsel is handling that, the deputy mayor, and, I'm sure the deputy mayor will speak with that, and we'll get back to you.
That's Lou Capelli.
Yes, Mr. Capelli's office, yes.
So is he in contact with you? Cause it just seems like we're not getting anywhere.
He's been in contact with the parties as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're, from what I understand, the ball is in their court to provide the documentation that we need as a township, and that hasn't been done yet. So until that occurs, there's nothing that we can do.
It seems like there's a confusion of new construction, new development, but we already have the buildings, and that's where
Right.
Mr.
Right.
Capelli is kind of, I guess.
Our special counsel did provide, specific instructions to your council and the people representing you to provide us with the proper documentation. That has not occurred. So until that happens, there's nothing that we can do. But we appreciate you coming.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Anyone else after that, gentlemen?
Hi, Amber Koperbass, 100 Madison Avenue. I first wanted to bring up, I was glad somebody else brought up speeding. Like I just said, I live on Madison Avenue right in front of the hospital, and it's the time of year when the windows are back open again, and, I can hear it, cars flying by, which surprises me. Despite the fact that I'm in proximity to 38, there's the speed bump in the crosswalk for the hospital. I don't know how they're reaching the speeds they're reaching. Flying enough that a car was going so fast in the middle of the night that it woke me up. It's something that I've been noticing lately. So I was wondering, I was kind of thinking through as I was listening to the discussion of the speed bump, but since Virtual was kind of involved in this project, widening the lane there, I don't know if that could be part of the conversation. I am sure it's in their interest. It's a hospital, you have people, it blows my mind that people are flying like that on any residential street, but there are people who are ill, have mobility issues, using that crosswalk, it's just pretty dangerous. So that was just my first thought to toss out there. I had a question about the foreclosures. I caught a little bit of that and understand that the township already has the certificates and that it sounds like it is due to unpaid taxes. And so I just was curious kind of like how this will then turn around and turn them sort of back into a rateable. Will the properties then be sold by the town? Is that kind of the plan?
Yes.
Okay, cool, thank you. I did miss the meeting last month, because August, who knows what's going on. So I just wanted to follow up and see if we've gotten anywhere with having a historic commissioner committee.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And then the last thing on committee stuff was, I just wanted to put out again in kind of the conversations about being proactive, just pursuing any youth, or recreation programming. I'll just say it forever. And then I have some questions. It was a little tough to follow. I had to look up quite a few things, and I think it references an agreement that's not attached, which that might be security stuff. But with resolution 2025-104, the one for mutual aid with Burlington County. In reading through that, though, it looks like this encompasses working in conjunction with a lot more than the county, as there's mention of the Department of Homeland Security and NIMS, and I wanted to get a better understanding on that, because as you can imagine, when we see, commentary from Secretary Noem and So when we see commentary from Secretary Noem and the President of the United States, right, tweeting about sending the Department of War into Chicago, while Mount Holly, New Jersey is probably not on their radar in particular, it is concerning to me to be kind of coordinating with an organization with those kinds of agendas, I'll say. Especially given that leading up to the No Kings protest, we saw the Department of Homeland Security even putting out threat assessment reports where they were labeling things like biking, skateboarding, recording police officers, and just possessing cameras, masks, or flashlights as, quote, violent tactics. And that live streaming public events and police officers and people who work for the public working in whatever capacity in public, that live streaming that was doxing them and threatening. And so it concerns me that we would coordinate with agencies that are deploying the US military against residents. And again, I understand that we're, Mount Holly, we're not in the crosshairs, but I would love some more clarification on what that entails, especially given the line of civil unrest and what this administration is calling civil unrest.
Right, I appreciate your comments, but this is something that the county has already adopted.
Mhm.
So we're following suit, going through based on what our needs here. As in every other town here in Burlington County.
It's basically in case there's, God forbid, a mass casualty.
Worst case scenario.
We get mutual assistance from the county
Right.
to other towns, and God forbid that should happen, but it only.
So we understand your concerns, but this is something that majority of towns have already adopted.
Okay, and you said it impacts the county, so can I just?
Burlington County already adopted this, so this is a shared service agreement with them.
Right, okay, I just wanted to clarify, like, in line with the county and most other towns, so it is or is not required?
It is required.
It is
Okay,
required.
all right, thank you.
If we want the assistance.
If you want the assistance.
Oh, okay, well, that's different from being legally, because I know sometimes there are ordinances that legally have to be adopted and are
Right.
sort of just going through the motions, so this is not one of those, this is an option. I just want to be, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the following rooms?
Jeff Eversmeyer, 203 Broad Street. I sent a message to the mayor and everybody this morning. I forgot to get the lady's name who had a problem with the rental property, because it was in the other half of her house. But I thought I'd reach out to her and see how things were going. Rich responded right away and said that they were working on it, so hopefully she's getting some relief. But I feel bad because I promised her I'd call her or stop by and never did, so if I could get her name and address, because I tried to get it on the list on the Township's website, there was no agenda of what happened after you, so I don't have her name. If I get that, I'd appreciate it. She touched on the historic preservation. My wife is looking forward to it. She ran the commission for years. Sooner the better. I see we're doing another house. I guess she photographed it on Madison Avenue. It's being repaired. It's got those great windows in it. So hopefully Frank will do as good a job on that one as he did on Garden Street to bring back the character of the house, and we don't change too much of it, because there's certain things like windows and doors that make a house beautiful and Victorian. We don't have many of them in town. I know it's not an historic district, it never was, but we should try to save the character of Mount Holly as much as we can. And hopefully, Frank responded well to the public comment on Garden Street, did a great job, so hopefully he'll continue doing that. Other things, I'd like to maybe, when you guys get some time in the next couple of weeks, I see that we've got new code enforcement officials going around and doing some stuff. Hopefully, it's quicker turnaround on problem properties. But I'd be happy to go around with people looking for properties, show them what I see, make sure that everybody's in code. There's 2 scrap yards in Mount Holly. They should never be there, and they still are there. So I don't know how we move faster. I used to go to court with people, so hopefully we'll have a quicker turnaround where they're brought before they have to respond, and then they go to court or whatever. So other than that, I appreciate appreciate all you're doing with that, you know, that lady. Hopefully she gets some help and she's able to stay in Mount Holly and, you know, not leave us.
Thank you, Joe.
Hi, good evening, Jennifer Musial, 9 Marin Terrace. I just wanted to have a quick announcement for folks on council and folks in the fellow residents, that there is an opportunity to volunteer for an upcoming event in town, a beloved event, newly reimagined event called the Witches Bazaar, which happens on Saturday, October 18th. The event is gonna have performers that are fun and unique. There'll be readers of different kinds, there'll be vendors, there'll be a costume contest with trophies. It has a lot of the same elements of the Witches Ball that was so beloved, but with a slightly different focus. And I know a lot of people have expressed interest in wanting to be involved, whether they've been on Facebook or just in general conversation. And this is the time that we really need people to start signing up to commit to volunteering. So we would love the additional support with that. I have a sign-up sheet here that, if it's okay with y'all, I'll send backwards. There's also one in the back of the room. Would that be okay?
In the back room would be fine.
Okay. And it would be wonderful if each member of council could also sign their name to volunteer. It'd be great to see you there. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Hi, David Biello, 66 from Concourse Road. Initially, when I came here, we kind of said accountability, transparency. I'm not seeing a lot of that. I'm not seeing a lot of things that should be happening in town, improving. Now, I want to take all my time for me, no Q&A, because sometimes I feel you gaslight, or some of you people there gaslight, so I really don't feel like going through this. One thing I want to mention, the Historical Society has been 6 to 8 months, and you put that off. That's an example of that. The other thing is the bank. Supposedly we were gonna improve that. Maybe you should get one of your developers that you give improvements or certifications and have them do it. They seem to be building houses really quick and selling them. The other thing I have is you have a lot of businesses, the same, dispensary, hair. I don't see diversification in business, so I don't know how that works with the town. They have the leaves, we mentioned the leaves earlier, the leaves on Grant Street and Keene. A committee came out, a group of volunteers came out and cleaned that area, chopped that area, that little reserve that's gonna be reserved. They bought that out of Frank. He initially got approved, or was gonna build houses there, I don't know how, but good luck. But now there's a bunch of leaves on the road. It's been there for 2 months, 2.5 months. They haven't cleaned it since, so I don't know what they're going through, or where. As far as the signs, I've seen signs in other towns and other places that they have blinking lights. We have it on Ranconco, Cedar County. It says stop, people press, but the other signs that say slow down. I see a lot of cars still going fast. I still see a lot of trucks going through the town. I have gone through other towns and spoke to them and tried to get them on board. I went to the county and they said if we can get the other towns together, that we can try to prevent that, but I don't see that the town is making a lot of progress on that. Again, it's an upsetting thing. There's a lot of houses, as Jeff said, that need to be improved. One, for example, that has been in shambles when a car went into it, Franconcos and Keene Street. It has the steps there. I don't know what they're doing. I reported that in, I took pictures, I sent them in, what they're going. What I heard from someone here is, hey, what concern is it of yours? You don't have any business in that. I won't mention names, but it's there. That kind of interaction doesn't really work well with me. As far as that building, it needs to be improved. It's an exit. It's a fire hazard. I'm sure we all have seen it. Ranconcos and Keene Street, right on the corner. There are other buildings like that, that if you look at the top, it's falling apart, it's shambles. That other building on the corner of King Street, right on the corner of Ranconcos, that's another building that's gonna have issues. Again, cleanup is an important thing that we all need to do and we all need to look at. The lady's concerned, I have no street cleanup. I don't see any on my road as far as street sweep. They don't do that. What I do see is the county come with the machine every day. When I walk my puppies, they come there and they clean. They do a good job cleaning the county, but I don't see them cleaning everything. I would appreciate if we have more accountability and more transparency. I got 10 seconds left, so I want to thank the people who I mentioned. I hope that you take account of everyone's concerns and we take it into effect and we diversify the businesses in the area. Thank you.
Thank you. Last row.
Good evening, Mike Rothmel, 33 Union Street. Couple of things. One, I want to thank Sherry Marnell for certifying the signatures for the runoff petition. The county was a bit recalcitrant, but I did some research and found statute 40:45-21, which says that runoff elections have to be within 60 days of submission. I filed a complaint on behalf of some residents with the Superior Court, and the county agreed with me, and the runoff question will be on the ballot. So I do want to thank Ms. Marnell for certifying those petitions, those signatures, much appreciated. Second, I want to thank the police and Public Works for cooperating with a very successful car show this past Saturday. Public Works helped set up the tents and stages. They're going to take them down. And so that was very helpful. The police very helpful with traffic. It's a long 6-month planning process for the car show. Every year we had about 300 cars and tons of people and overflow cars that were not judged. So it was a very successful show, and I want to thank the Township for the help you guys gave for all of that and other successful events. With regard to parking on street sweeping, there's a lot of different options. I know East Hampton posts signs, because I see them when you drive on Powell Street, that we're having street sweeping. And I don't know if you sweep all the streets together, if you have zones like the leaf collection, you can notify residents to get off the street when you're gonna do it, because notice and opportunity to be heard is an important part of due process. So that's important. In Boston, they have signs, and visiting my son, I learned they tow you if you don't get your car off the road. You get to drive you to the tow place. So it's not just a $63 ticket, it's like a $200 tow charge on top of it, which is not a lot of fun. But it's my fault for disobeying the sign, because I've never seen them enforced anywhere else. So somewhere along the line, you do have to have the street sweeping. It's required by the MS4 permit, and you do have to get the cars off the road to do that. So I think something has to be done about that. But notice is important as well, so they know when the street sweepers are coming. You're not going to do the whole town in one day, so that would be also helpful and make it more manageable, some planning. Another issue I noticed walking Phoebe were storm drains. Under MS4, you have to, under the next 5 years, you have to have all of them totally blocked so nothing can get through. I noticed there were some on Park Drive that are compliant with MS4, others are not. We saw some with plants growing in them, and dirt and sediment. They're not very effective. One was actually flowing backwards into the storm drain on White Street and Monroe Street, which was water flowing into the sewer drain instead of out of it, which was surprising. I know the Ranconcos was high because of the rain we had Saturday, but that was probably something that should not occur. And that's when you go down White Street, it's right there in front of you. And then I think there's one serious issue I had. I could not go to the Fire Commission meeting on Wednesday, but I did view it on YouTube. And one of the issues that came up was shared services agreement between the Township and the Fire Commission. And here I'm speaking as an attorney, but I think there's a conflict because the same firm represents both the Fire Commission and the Township, and you can't have two members of the same firm negotiating contracts that are supposed to be adverse to each other. And fortunately, the Fire Commission did not pass the shared services resolution, so it's not an issue. But I think it's very important for this body to consider having a conflict counsel, because when you have government bodies with two attorneys from the same firm, there's going to be a conflict of interest somewhere. And somewhere along the line, you're going to have a conflict counsel. I think that's important. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the last row?
Evan Johnson, 33 West Monroe Street. Yeah, a few months ago, it was approved to have a handicap sign, out on 33 West Monroe Street. I think it's been 9 months later. It's still in there. And my concern is about that is, the parking in the yard, 51 business, still on the side street, with kids on there, and they race down that street. And another thing is, I noticed on Business Street, there's handicap signs up, but, people that I know, they're no longer, well, 2 of them are both deceased. So there's handicap signs still staying up at certain places on Business Street. And there's a big issue as far as parking on Monroe Street, I see some things still, parking close to a fire hydrant, but you got no place to park, and I hate to even, and people parking on, on their grass, 19 Monroe Street, East Monroe, little west. Yeah, and as far as about the sweepers, I see it every once in a while going down the street, but, there are signs up every Wednesday, but they don't come out every Wednesday. There are signs on Monroe Street, but they don't come every Wednesday. So I don't know if, they got tired of giving tickets, or I don't know. And then the other thing I heard here, I even offered to take code enforcers and walk them around. These alleyways, you got bushes like going into the alleyways and stuff. It could be cleaned up a lot more too. And yeah, that's about it. But it's been a long time since that. But I'm concerned putting it by that where they're going in, because my car's been hit one more time again since I've been here. I haven't been here because I've had health issues. But yeah, that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Wait, I'm sorry, can I just ask real quick, what was the address that there was a handicap sign approved?
Okay, by the Peterson, Mr. Peterson's house, there's one there, as you go that alley to
Do you have the
wine
address?
place.
Do you have the address?
No, I don't.
If you can give us the address.
You can look it up.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and the Murphys, I don't know what that is.
Sorry, Louis. My name is Melissa Burris. I live on Dawn Drive. Sorry. I'm actually coming here as a concerned parent and volunteer for the Rancocas Valley Little League. I'm sorry, I'm just nervous to talk in front of people, but.
Take your time. Take your time.
Little League?
The Rancocas Valley Little League.
Okay.
We're a small volunteer run league. I know my oldest son, he played on the fields behind us, and they are maintained by the township. Now our league, it's completely, we clean up everything, we handle everything. We were just wondering if we were entitled to the same, help, as far as cutting grass kind of thing, like the fields behind us. That's the one issue. The other one, we've been having a lot of, what would you call it? A lot of vandalism.
Which park are you using?
We're over off Monroe Street.
Are you using the actual RV Little League field?
RV Little League field, yeah.
Okay.
So we've been having a lot of vandalism, spray painting, and we do appreciate, we have talked with police, they've come, they've checked things out, and they've been very helpful. But I don't know if we could maybe have someone come right by a little more often, that's good.
Yeah, because you're using Monroe Park, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying that they're vandalizing?
Yeah, they've had spray paint all over, they've broken into our bathrooms, broken the sink. So, we're just trying to keep things going for the kids.
And that property is not owned by the township?
It is.
Oh, it is?
No, Monroe is. So is Monroe.
Okay, so that property is, and are you saying that it's also not being maintained, just as?
Yeah, the grass is
Grass is not-
crazy, we have a small group of volunteers that go some cuts.
Right.
So if we could just get a little help with that, that would be very helpful.
Years ago, there was agreements that were made between the Little League and their volunteers
And their
to
volunteers.
maintain, to offset costs and things, but that is a township park, and they should be cut by
They
the
should be
township
cut.
work, so if there's issues that are going on, we should address that, but it being
We'll
maintained
address
properly.
that with public.
Oh, thank you very much.
And one of the things too, with the graffiti that you're talking about, spray paint, a lot of that was occurring here in Milldam Park.
Yeah, I
On
see
the
that.
gazebo that was over here, and we've since started to install some security measures, so my guess is they've migrated over to Monroe Park now. And I know that the chief is looking into a possible, grant that the companies may be willing to give us for some more cameras. So that should be an area that's highlighted too, so there's more eyes on what's going on over there.
Thank you, yeah, we try and clean up what we can and maintain the stuff.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You did good.
Anyone else have, would like to make comments that has not spoke? All right, I'm seeing none, so I'm closing the public portion. And we're gonna move on to the consent agenda. All items with an asterisk are considered routine by council and will be enacted by one motion. Should a council member wish to discuss consent agenda items separately, that item can be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence. Is there anything that you want to take out and vote on in the room? Which ones? So yeah, we're not taking anything else. So what is your question you'd like to take?
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a question.
Why do you want to do it?
Vote separately, so I can vote on the second.
We're not taking anything else separately, you talk about it, discuss it. You still want to take that separately? You want it separately?
Yeah, if they,
Okay. Because we didn't change that yet. Okay. Got it. So only B? E. Got used to alphanumeric. Or is it D? So E? Okay. All right, anything else? Okay. So we going to take A, B, C, D, F, G, H, and all in one motion, and then we'll vote on E separately. So, can I get a motion to move forward with resolutions 2025 100, 101, 102, 103, 105, the bill list, and the department head reports?
Motion to approve.
We have a first,
I'll second.
we have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Astor? Yes. Ms. Burgess?
Yes.
Mr. Falco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. All right, so we have resolution number 2025-104, authorizing the shared service agreement with the county, with Burlington County for a mutual aid and assistance agreement. Can we get a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a first. We have a second.
Second?
We have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Astor? Ms. Burgess?
Yes.
Mr. Falco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to conclude the meeting, I don't see our township manager here, so, Tom, our solicitor, do you have any comments?
Thank you, Mayor. Contrary to the comment Mr. Rothman made about a conflict of interest, which sounds like a big person that do, I can assure you.
Tom, just move the mic.
I can assure you, Mayor, that there's no conflict of interest. The town has special counsel and the fire district has special counsel. I haven't been involved in this shared service.
Okay. Thanks for that clarification. So our matters presented by council, let's start with Ms. Burgess. Ms. Burgess.
Yeah, just a few things for me quickly. Wanted to thank everybody involved, again, also with the car show. It was a great day. The weather didn't 100% cooperate, but it didn't seem to matter. We had a ton of people that came out. Also great cooperation with our public works, the township, the police department, the volunteers, all of Main Street Mount Holly. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of people, but it's become right with the well-oiled machine. Show cart. So appreciate everybody that came out. It's mobbing. And again, love that the public works is doing that. I am too old to put up dancing stages. So I greatly, nobody appreciates that more than I do, so thank you very much. I'm gonna dig a little deeper into this Clover Street. I have at least 2 other people that live on Clover Street bring up when is my speed bump coming back? So I'm not sure, I literally do not know. I'm not saying it's good or bad or otherwise. I do not know the process of when we repay, sort of reconsidering putting things like that back in. So I will check into that a little bit and get back to those residents. I'm very curious about why we don't restore something like that without doing some sort of study. I really don't know the answer. The League of Municipalities is creeping upon us. I would encourage anybody to take a look at the website for that. We get to go and do several days of education, and Ms. Taylor Ford, I was in the class where you were so wonderfully nominated the Physically Engaged Active Citizen, which I'll always remember you. I think you should get a tattoo of that. But I would encourage anybody to take a look at that website. There's a lot of really interesting and cool education sessions that we can take, and if you would suggest that, I would be happy to consider taking something of a particular topic. If obviously most of you will be going to that, but if there's something that you think is interesting and applies to our town specifically, I'm happy to go throw that onto my agenda. If there's not something that conflicts and goes and report back, I think we'd all do the same. And I always get very energized and excited when I come back from that. Even if you bring back a handful of good ideas, it's well worth it, in my opinion. And that, I think, is it for me. Oh, the brush pickup, I think, if it's the first full week, that would mean the stuff on Grant Street could get picked up sometime next week.
This week.
Sometime this week, today's
Yeah.
Monday, this week. Okay.
Yes, it's the first full week.
That's great. Okay, that's, because that was a good question.
Depending on the amount, sometimes it takes a
Oh,
while.
sure, it's a lot.
But we'll get there.
I love it. Okay, that's it for me. Thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you,
And I hope to
Ms.
see everybody on Thursday morning.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Ms. Astor?
Thank you. Yes, I noticed driving down Clover, it's a smooth ride. I had no idea where the speed bumps went, but Kim and I will investigate, because being near elementary school, that'd be a great place to slow down traffic. So, and on a curve. And I do a lot of walking, and I have almost hit my cars numerous times. Crossing Broad Street, where Broad intersects with Jacksonville, people just fly, don't even pause to take that turn. So yeah, that's definitely a hot spot in town. In regards to League of Municipalities, Ms. Ford, I was also at that seminar. I forget what it was. It was Open Public Meetings Act seminar. We also did Open Public Records Act seminar, 2 of them. There is a lot to learn at the League of Municipalities, which is the week before Thanksgiving. I think members of the public can attend, but we do learn a lot. There's a ton of seminars, and yes, there's dinners and evening activities. Love to geek out in the seminars, because there's a lot to learn, and I'd be happy to, divide and conquer and go to different seminars, and then, have a discussion with our fellow council members about what we learned and what we could put forth. I know our 250th anniversary celebration as a country is in 2026, and there's a lot of things going on, activities, planning, that is going to involve a lot of different entities in the township. So there was a seminar last year specifically about that, so I'm hoping they'll have that again. Just resources, information from the state, etc. And Luis, you gave out all the announcements of what's going on this month of September, so thank you. Saved us that. And Ms. Amber Koperos, you had mentioned the particular resolution, which is the mutual agreement with the county. 99.9% of it was absolutely positive, and something that I would want our local, county, state entities working with federal, especially in a natural disaster or some sort of situation where we need to work together. But it's always those few little lines, kind of like the Patriot Act. It seemed good, but there was some things that might be unconstitutional, which is why I abstained. But in spirit, I support it. But there were a few phrases as far as like domestic incidents, regardless of cause, size, or complexity, which could literally mean 3 people standing on a street corner protesting anything. I wasn't against it, but I couldn't give it a yes. So I think one other thing, I think I will wait for our township manager to be here, sorry, next month, because in the fire commission meeting, as Mr. Rothmel stated, we have a shared services agreement, and there are 3 things we agreed on: to use this building to have our meetings, to have our township grant writer offer their services to the fire district, and to have the housing director do the last. It basically it's instructions for. I'm sorry, I want to read it correctly so I don't misspeak. Have the township's neighborhood services director perform residential resale inspections for certificates of occupancy. But it seems like there's more things happening here at 17 Pine Street involving township employees and the fire district. So I'm going to do a little bit more research and perhaps ask more questions as to what exactly our shared services agreement is, and you know, a clear distinction of what our municipal employees are doing for the township versus the fire district. And on that note, thank you for coming. Thank you for all being engaged and interested in what's going on in your township.
Thank you, Ms. Astor. Deputy Mayor? Good evening, everyone. I didn't get the name of the first speaker from Medford in regards to Ms. Pollock. Can we get the information from Ms. Pollock of how to contact her and provide her communication with the Environmental Advisory Committee to see if they can work together to advocate or at least get more information on proposed runoff that would be caused by the development? I think everyone up here is curious on how that may impact the town. Like flooding. Jeff, you brought up when you were talking 2 different scrap yards. Can you provide those addresses to us, please?
The one's on Middle Street. Well, I'll get the addresses and send them to you.
Yeah, if you can. I can just.
I don't know what the physical address is, but if you go in the backyard, it's just that solid with metal.
Okay. Signs. One of the things that we brought up, there was a bunch of conversations in regards to street sweeping, signs, etc. While I was sitting up here, I think that we all discussed together it would be a good opportunity for the UEZ to create a new project. And I'm going to recommend just that, not just things like, I'd say larger signage, like you would see a campaign sign, say, at the corner of a development, in street sweeping, but maybe you would purchase an additional LED sign that we can give to Public Works, paid for by the UEZ, to provide information in streets where it needs to be cleaned, etc., so everyone knows. There is suggested area, which is a corner lot, which is the Christmas tree celebration, etc. over there. There's some rough drafts that are out there on what we're looking to do to possibly enhance that corner over there. And I think Mr. Ford brought it up regarding to the corner sign that's over there right now. There is a borrowed sign of the police sign that's up there. And it is in part of that plan that there is a corner sign that displays exactly what you were talking about, both for oncoming for visibility on Mill Street towards Washington towards Mill, and something you can see coming down and turning onto High Street. It's hard to get all 3 angles, but my guess it'll probably be like a not a triangle, but like a V. That makes sense. The best you can see there, because it does make sense. I mean, I drive past the Hanesboro one all the time, and it says when the meetings are going to be and whatever. And again, I may be in IT, but everyone doesn't go on the web and look at stuff online. I mean, so just another avenue. So I just want to let you know that that is something that's been planning. It's all about funding. At the end of the day, we're working on that.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. The other thing I have here is, Dave, you brought up, you haven't heard much about the truck stuff. I've kind of kept it a little quiet and under the breath because I'm trying to work with our neighboring towns and not cause too much ruffling in their feathers to get them to all come to agreement to get this done. I can tell you that as of today, both Lumberton and Hansport have supported us by resolution in our efforts. We are now waiting for East Hampton and West Hampton to also sign on to that and get that done. So I have not yet, unleashed Holly to our neighboring towns, but I may be here next month asking you guys if you have the time to go to their council meetings and advocate for them to support that piece of it so we can get that done. So, and I'll be there just as well right next to you doing that. So I just want to let you know that we have not been doing anything. We're just trying to get it done behind the scenes because everyone doesn't want their towns to be ruffled in any way. We try to do it as efficiently as possible. Monroe Park, I am kind of disappointed. I think I've been a big advocate to getting our parks upgraded over the years. So I'm not sure what happened with that process and communication, but I'm gonna make sure, I'm sure everyone on council will make sure that we make sure that Public Works gets out there and they take care of the grass cutting and the trimming. If there's graffiti that is, inappropriate for children to see, which happens a lot in these areas because people think it's funny, that either gets painted or washed off with the proper chemicals, like we had to do numerous times with the expensive gazebo we have over here. And then when we have more information on the camera system, that is also an area in need, which can provide some surveillance in case something is done over there that we need to make sure that is taken care of. And that's really all I have. Oh, one other thing is that all the stuff that we approved, and I know this is not really the form, because this is UEZ, but kind of relevant for information. Clean Team, the police project, a bunch of stuff that we did with the event, they're all approved at the state level. We're now waiting, because government takes forever, we're waiting for the appropriate appropriation level of approval, even if it's approved by the state, to receive that information. Once we receive that, we can then send it back to us on council here to then approve the appropriation yet again to the UEZ to expend those funds. So, for those of you who don't know the process, the UEZ creates a project, the project gets approved by the UEZ, the project gets put before the council who approves it. Once it's approved, it goes before the state UEZ, which may or may not make it the month in which it's submitted. It may be on the agenda, it may not be. They approve it, and then they have 30 days to issue a letter of approval, even though it's been done during the meeting. If we have that letter, it then goes back to the UEZ saying we received it, and then we have to do a supporting basically a resolution sent back to council to approve the budgetary items to be able to spend the money. It's exhausting. It was a lot, but that's where we're at right now. So hopefully, knock on wood, we receive that sometime between now and the next meeting, and hopefully the next meeting will have for us a whole bunch of resolutions approving all those projects that we've been approving since the state since January. So that's all I have. Thank you for coming out, and hope you guys have a nice evening. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you, sir. So I'll finish up. I'm not going to take too much of your time. I think all our council members pretty much said everything that I was going to say. I'd like to thank you guys for coming out. Car show was a success. Hopefully all projects, run smoothly. I know the weather wasn't ideal towards the end of the afternoon, but I think most people enjoyed themselves, from what I understand. So I think that was great. Anytime we try to do an event, we try to make sure we incorporate everyone and everyone in this town. There's also room for improvement too as well. We have areas to improve as well, and we're working on those. A lot of things we do behind the scenes, and once they're done, we'll let you guys know when they're done. In regards to the bank building is still in the process, because due to, I guess, the federal government and the grants we got for that particular building, they're requiring us to do some asbestos and other things that they found that we have to remediate and address. So that's what's holding up that particular project at this particular time. Still should be on track, hopefully by first quarter next year to be in that building. That's where that status is of that building. Other than that, our next meeting is, we have our 9/11 ceremony at the municipal building at 9 a.m. So if you guys are free, more than welcome to stop by. And with that, I think our next meeting is October 6th, on a Monday. Like I said, enjoy the rest of your September. The weather is great. Hopefully it stays like this and it doesn't get too hot again. Hopefully everybody can get a reprieve on their electric bills and things like that from their AC with the cooler weather. But really appreciate you guys coming. We got the notes that we need, and we'll be following up appropriately when the time is right. Thank you.